Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something that, let's be honest, touches all of our lives at some point: loss. And, more importantly, that strange, confusing, and sometimes surprising path back to hope. For this, we're going to be diving into Alison Esbach's fantastic novel, The Wedding People, because it tackles this whole thing with so much humor and heart. All right, let's get into it. This one line from the book really sets the stage for everything we're talking about today. It's this powerful idea that the way forward isn't always some grand plan we make. Sometimes it just finds us. So, let me introduce you to our guide for this journey, Phoebe Stone. Now, just imagine this for a second. You've just lost the love of your life. You need to get away, to just breathe. So you book a quiet retreat. And then you show up and realize you've checked into a fancy resort that only does weddings. That beautiful, painful irony is where this whole story kicks off. So this sets up this kind of crazy escape, right? One that seems like it's just doomed from the start. But there's a little bit of hope in there. I mean, what happens when you try to run away to the one place that's a constant, painful reminder of everything you've just lost? Phoebe is there for one reason: to find some peace and quiet, to be alone with her grief. But the world around her is the exact opposite of that. It's just nonstop music, champagne, and celebrations of new love. It's this total clash between her inner world and the outside world that, well, it forces a change she absolutely did not see coming. And look, the book is really honest about this. Running away isn't some magic wand that fixes everything. It doesn't instantly heal her. But what it does do is so important. It just yanks her out of her old, suffocating routine. It cracks open a window, and that creates just enough space for something new to get in. And really, isn't that always the first step? And what fills that new space? Well, her deep, heavy grief slams right into an overwhelming wave of joy. And that collision, that's where things get really, really interesting. This is the huge question Phoebe is suddenly facing. And it's a question I think a lot of us have had to ask ourselves. When you're carrying something that heavy, how do you even let yourself feel a moment of lightness? Is that even allowed? Is it possible? We have this idea that grief is supposed to be neat. It's got stages, right? A clear path from A to B. But what Phoebe finds out, and what's so real about this story, is that the reality is just a mess. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a total scribble of good days, awful days, and a whole bunch of weird, confusing days thrown in between. And this is the huge breakthrough for her. This is the crucial point. You don't have to get rid of your sadness to feel a little bit of happiness. Surrounded by wedding cake and conga lines, she learns that these two things you think are total opposites can actually live inside you at the exact same time. Feeling a flicker of joy doesn't mean her pain is gone. It just makes the pain feel survivable. But here's the thing. She doesn't figure all this out on her own, locked in her hotel room. Her healing really kicks into gear when her self-imposed isolation gets broken by the most unexpected thing: other people. She starts, kind of by accident, connecting with other wedding guests, and she realizes something pretty fast. Behind all the smiles, everybody's got their own stuff going on. She learns that you don't have to be perfect or fixed for people to care about you. And she discovers that it's those tiny, quiet moments, a shared look, a quiet conversation, that can be absolute game changers. This becomes the absolute heart of her transformation. I mean, Phoebe wasn't looking for friends. She was actively trying to avoid them. But connection found her anyway. And it turned out to be the exact medicine she didn't even know she desperately needed. It just goes to show you that sharing our vulnerabilities is one of the most powerful healers out there. So all this connection, it gives her the strength to move into the final and maybe the toughest part of this whole journey: actually, actively reinventing her life and who she is after everything she's lost. And the book gives us this amazing kind of roadmap for it. It all starts with step one. You gotta step away, like Phoebe did, just to get some fresh air and perspective. Then step two, and this is a big one, you have to let go of the script, the life you thought you were gonna have. That's what lets you do step three, embrace the new person you're becoming, which all leads to the final step, understanding that you survive by choosing to start over.
And this really hits on a deep fear, doesn't it? That feeling that moving on or being happy again is somehow a betrayal of the person or the life that you lost. But the book reframes this so beautifully. It says starting over isn't about erasing your past. It's about honoring your own life, your own survival. And that's actually the best way to honor the love that you had. So, as we wrap things up here, what are the big ideas we can really take with us from Phoebe's strange, unexpected trip to the wedding resort? If you only remember 3 things, let them be these. First, it is absolutely okay to feel happy and sad at the same time. That's not being broken, that's just being human. Second, never ever underestimate how healing it can be to connect with other people, even total strangers. And third, starting over isn't a sign of failure. It's a brave, powerful, and necessary act of survival. And that just leaves us with one final thought. Phoebe found healing in the very last place on Earth she would have ever looked for it. So I'll just leave you with this question. Where is your wedding resort? What's that unexpected place or person or experience out there that might just be waiting to help you heal? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.